Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. There is that bid on the table for David Raya from Arsenal. £20 million plus £3 million in add-ons is what Arsenal have decided to go for in terms of a bid to sign David Raya. Brentford have received that bid. They have not rejected it. Talks are ongoing to find a compromise. There is a feeling that both clubs will agree a deal closer to 30 million, but Brentford have refused to bite the bullet. They're saying we are not rejecting this bid because we are not sure if another club is going to come in with another better offer. Arsenal are likely not to sign a striker in this summer, despite the fact that Gabriel Jesus is going to be out for a complete 4 weeks. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. What does this mean for Arsenal as we start our campaign, as we start the title charge? 4 weeks without a main striker, and we have a couple of weeks to go to the end of the window, but it looks like Arsenal are purely disinterested in getting a new striker. I understand the reasoning because Mikel Arteta doesn't want to get it wrong. Edu also doesn't want to get it wrong. Probably they want to sign a striker in January or even in the summer. But do you think we are making the right decision? Do you think Arsenal not signing a striker and staying calm is the right call? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. I'll be diving into the latest on Gabriel Jesus because it looks like it's going to be around 3 to 4 weeks as well. Let's get this video to 500 likes and your thoughts in the comment box below. Right, let's start off with that bid as reported by Fabrizio Romano, exclusively by my man Romano. He says that Arsenal have now, we can confirm that Arsenal have submitted a £20 million bid plus £3 million in add-ons, a total package of £23 million to sign Brentford goalkeeper David Raya. That is where we are in terms of that deal. An agreement between the two clubs is expected to be very, very close, and it is sooner rather than later. It is a matter of when rather than if. I always thought that Brentford had taken the wrong approach with this deal. The right amount of money for them to take was the Tottenham Hotspur, income. I think if Spurs had offered them around 35, they should have taken that deal. They should have sold him then. But I think they thought they would get more money. They thought they would get a candidate that would actually offer them at least 45, at least maybe 39 million. It has not happened, and now Arsenal placed that 23. So it shows you that Arsenal are really interested in David Raya. It's not a point of talks and interest. There is real concrete interest in David Raya. There is real interest from Arsenal to sign David Raya. And look, I think Ramsdale now has to understand this is the new Arsenal, and the position of goalkeeper, the office of goalkeeper at Arsenal, is going to significantly change the way we look at it, the competition in it, and what it's going to be bringing to this Arsenal side. Now, there have been a few talks that Mikel Arteta is a little bit frustrated and worried about Aaron Ramsdale because of those ups and lows in terms of his performances. He's not as consistent as goalkeepers like Thibaut Courtois, and he doesn't turn up on those big occasions like you see Alisson, Ederson, and the likes of Onana. So there is talk that Mikel Arteta is actually disinterested or probably worried that Ramsdale might not be the goalkeeper that drives us to success. But this is what I'm going to say. Arsenal bidding for David Raya means that they want a serious goalkeeper. But that does not mean Aaron Ramsdale is out of favor. It's one thing I don't believe. It's one thing I will not believe. I don't think he's out of favor. I just think that Mikel Arteta has decided to be ruthless. Arsenal have decided to be ruthless, and that's what we've wanted as fans for the last 2 decades. We've wanted Arsenal to be as strong as it was in 2004 and prior to that period. We want that Arsenal back. We want an Arsenal side with 2 good goalkeepers, 2 good strikers, 2 good midfielders, a couple of players competing and challenging each other. And that is what David Raya is going to bring. Now, in terms of the agreement, the fact that Brentford have not declined that bid, it shows you their intent to sell, but then it shows you the amount of work that has been done by Arsenal in terms of negotiations, and also Brentford understand the player wants to go to Arsenal. It's very different when a player wants to join one club as compared to if a player is open to joining any club. It happened with Moises Caicedo. So with Moises Caicedo in January, he penned a document saying, I want to go to Arsenal, it's my dream club, and I want to go and feed my family. Brighton said, well, we can help you with feeding your family. We can give you as much money as we can. So they gave him enough money, and eventually he settled to stay at Brighton. This summer, he has been flirting with Chelsea. So that gives Brighton a little bit of more of time to negotiate with a couple of participants, a couple of interested parties, because the player doesn't have a locked-on destination. He's willing to go anywhere. But the problem with Brentford, and the problem Brentford have, is that David Raya wants to go to Arsenal. Hence, he has actually turned down a world-class Champions League capable winning machine in Bayern Munich. If a player turns down Bayern or Manchester City, like for the case of Rice, to say, I want to go to Arsenal, it means you have to agree a price with that particular club. And I think this deal is going to happen. I don't think it's going to take more than 7 days. I'm going to call it. In the next 7 days, David Raya will be Arsenal's goalkeeper. And it's one of those offices, I think, at Arsenal where we're not going to have a nailed-on starter. It's going to be about how good you are. If Iñaki Keina says that Ramsdale is the better goalkeeper, despite the fact that we've signed Raya, he will start for Arsenal every single game. If Raya comes in and beats Ramsdale at consistency and all the attributes that the manager, Mikel Arteta, is interested in his number one, I won't be surprised to see Raya play 40 games in a campaign and Ramsdale be left out left out on the bench to dry a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to create a lot of competition. But let's talk about the more pressing issue right now, which is the striker. And I'm sorry I've not uploaded content more related to this topic, earlier on, like you should have expected. But don't worry, here I am. So first and foremost, an update with Gabriel Jesus. How long is he gonna be out for? We are now understanding that it could be 3 to 4 weeks. That is the minimum period of time that he's going to be out for. 3 to 4 weeks. That means he misses the opening game, Nottingham Forest. He misses the Manchester United game, September the 1st, I think, or September the 2nd, the first game in September. And he will miss a couple of, I think, around 4 fixtures or 5 fixtures in the new Arsenal campaign. This is my problem with that injury. It makes us significantly weaker. There are 2 players right now, actually 3 players right now, before we sign David Raya, that make us significantly weaker in terms of quality and in terms of, with us being without a replacement. Number 1 is Aaron Ramsdale. The gap between Ramsdale and our second, third, and fourth choice goalkeepers is astronomically huge. So if Ramsdale picks up an injury, Matt Turner might not be at the level. Yes, he saves penalties, don't get me wrong, but he's not there. He's not at that level of a Premier League goalkeeper like Aaron Ramsdale. Number 2 is Martin Odegaard. If Odegaard picks up an injury, I tell you this, no player in this Arsenal side is as Martin Odegaard. Odegaard is like Kevin De Bruyne. Odegaard is like, I think, like Dennis Bergkamp, probably like Cesc Fabregas. Actually, I won't say Bergkamp. I'm gonna say Cesc Fabregas. A player who sees a very different picture from anyone on the pitch. A player who is capable of doing anything on the pitch as long as the ball is rolling. That is Martin Odegaard. And he's so vital to the way we play in that when everything is normal, he will make it abnormal. And when everything is abnormal, he will make it normal. I think Odegaard is our most, valuable player. You touch him, you've touched this Arsenal side. I mean, just like Kevin De Bruyne. You don't win games without Odegaard. You don't win games without Kevin De Bruyne. Our third irreplaceable player is Gabriel Jesus. Forget Saka. You know, with Saka, I could play anyone there, and I will put pressure on Martinelli. I'll put pressure on anyone on Odegaard to create chances and score goals, and we could win 1, 2, 3 games without Saka. I think Saka is so vital in helping us go into that unbeatable mode. But he's one of those players that if you missed him for 3 weeks, you could catch up. You could eventually catch up. My problem with Jesus is that what he gives you as a player and his status as a bona fide Premier League striker, no one else in this Arsenal side actually holds that, that kind of reputation. And the problem is that if you play Trossard where Jesus is, you will have to tamper and reduce quality on one of the positions on the left, either in the left 8 or on the left wing. So still there is a big problem with Gabriel Jesus not being replaced. There's a big problem with Gabriel Jesus being out for 5-6 weeks. Eddie's going to play there without a doubt. He must be celebrating. And I think Eddie is a very good lad. But is he there? Is he the guy to take us to our first 5 wins out of 5 in the new season? I simply doubt that. I absolutely simply doubt that. Now, reports are coming out that Arsenal will not panic, and we might actually not sign a striker. The transfer strategy is going to stay the way it has been. Mikel Arteta and Edu will not panic. I disagree. I purely and totally disagree. Mikel Arteta and Edu and whoever has actually done the David Raya deal, they've done it because an opportunity has manifested itself on the market. Raya is a very good goalkeeper. We've looked at him for 3 good years. We wanted to sign him in 2020, 2021, 2023, and 2024, probably. I mean, what am I saying? So there is an opportunity on the market, and Arsenal have decided to grab it. Fantastic. That is how a very smooth machine works, right? But we are too rigid. And this happened in January. I said this in January, that our priority was always to get in your guy, right? To get in your left winger. Trossard actually came in and did very well. But it was also to get in that number 9 and a midfielder to back up Thomas Partey. When we brought in Jorginho, everyone thought not the best signing ever. Not the best signing ever. But he did all right, okay? But he didn't take us over the line. So I think one of the things we have to adapt to, and one of the things we need to improve on as a club, is adaptation. If you can spot David Raya as an opportunity on the market, if you can spot David Raya as an opportunity that you must grab, I think that is very good flexibility, right? Because I don't think Arsenal really needed a goalkeeper, especially the caliber of David Raya. So because Arsenal have been as flexible, I've proven that we are flexible, we also need to start adapting to emergencies. I think this is the 2nd season running, or 3rd season actually, where Arsenal have been faced with a situation where we have to respond quickly, and we've just, put on the brakes. We've just stepped on the brakes. The first season was when we finished 4th. The January transfer window required that we sign a winger, that we signed a striker, and those 2 would actually make Arsenal top 4 contenders, and they would make us sure Champions League qualifiers. We actually did not. We did not, and we eventually didn't qualify for the UEFA Champions League. Last campaign, a good midfielder in Caicedo, or probably someone else, a good striker, because Jesus was injured by January, would have seen Arsenal probably win the league. Probably, I'm saying probably, potentially win the league. Somehow, we didn't win the league, and somehow we didn't do those deals. So, my concern is if we can view and spot and take action on rare opportunities in the market, why can't we, look at emergencies and respond to them? Jesus is going to become a problem. It's the same thing with Thomas Partey. Unless we don't want to learn, Partey has been replaced by Rice because Partey is injury prone. So we know that. But Gabriel Jesus has now followed in the same path. This is his second injury within I think 6-7 months, right? Second injury that's gonna keep him out for weeks within 6-7 months, and he's a very important player in a very important position to the way we play. You have got to get him. You've got to get him out of there. You've got to find a way. As simple as that, right? I think. My problem with knee injuries, and I will do a video about Jesus and the knee injury and why we desperately need a striker, because I've done I've shared my thoughts on why we won't win the league. But my problem with knee injuries, they are recurring, so they don't go away, right? Look at Thomas Partey's thigh injury. It's like the guy never heals. Look at Ansu Fati and his career and why he's not a favorite starter at Barca. He's the most talented player in that Barcelona side. But knee injuries, causing imbalance in the way he uses his legs, causing imbalance in the way he spends his time on and off the pitch. I think Jesus is going to become... He's definitely going to become a second striker at Arsenal. He won't love that, but I would suggest that we get a striker. Otherwise, the title is going to be very far away. Like Michaela said, this is going to be a very, very hectic season. I don't see how you overgo a hectic season by simply being stubborn. I don't see how that happens. But I want you guys to share your thoughts with me in the comment box below.